It's a secret, but it's an open secret. It's plain to all, but only a few see and understand. Then don't you understand this parable? Then how will you understand any parable? It's a secret, but it's an open secret. It's plain to all, but only a few see and understand. Then Jesus said to them, don't you understand this parable? Then how will you understand any parable? It's a secret, but it's an open secret. It's plain to all, but only a few see and understand. Then don't you understand this parable? Then how will you understand any parables? It's a secret, but it's an open secret. It's plain to all, but only a few see and understand. Then Jesus said to them, don't you understand this parable? Then how will you understand any parables?
Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we are. We made it. Sunday chill stream. You've made it to the McMo Sunday chill stream. It's a secret, but it's an open secret. It's plain to all, but only if you see and understand. I'm glad you can make it today, Tayo. We got some venting that needs to take place. I guess I could go ahead and put the link in the chat so Tayo can come on and let go of some of those burdens he's carrying. Lay him down, brother. Lay him down, sister. Those burdens we carry, lay them down. I just made that up. Chad, what's happening? Sir, what's happening? Demi Tayo. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
What's going on, broski?
How have you been? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. The venting might be a bit of an exaggeration. Let's change that to processing.
All right. Process away.
Well, I don't feel great about finding out that Marcha got banned from BOM.
Who banned? Wait, what?
Yep, Marcha and
Dumb.
Joey.
Marcher and Tunji?
Joey.
Oh, Joey.
Tunji's next, probably.
Well, who banned him and what for?
Baz banned them, and I don't really know. I'm sure it's for a good reason, but whatever the reason is, it feels very Trumpish to me.
Like Donald Trump?
Yeah. The same way you got all those charges, and it's like, oh, you just don't like the guy. It
Oh, I
feels
see.
like that to me. And I genuinely do feel like BOM is poorer with Martragon. I genuinely believe that.
Yeah, I think so too. But he's still on Grail Country and he's still on Grim the Broken Clock Tower and um this isn't the first time someone's been banned from BOM. I do feel like it's interesting that one person, one of the mods can do a unilateral ban, but it takes all the mods to agree to let somebody back in. It's a little interesting. It's not like written in the bylaws or anything, but that seems to be the way it works, right? Like any of the mods can just ban someone immediately, but in order to get them let back in, you're going to have to get at least a majority of the mods back on your side or something.
Yeah, I don't know how the hierarchy works, but
It also seems like it would be different if he got banned for activities in voice chat versus if he got banned for activities in text chat.
yeah, it's definitely activity in text chats. I'm sure because that's where he does all of his most trollish work.
Is it really? I don't even look at the text chats. I guess I do look at the text chat for the voice chat. But I don't go into any of the other chats. Well, yeah, that's a bummer, man. That's a bummer. I mean, unfortunately for us, neither of us have any type of authority wherefore to unban him. Um, but yeah, a bit of a bummer. Bit of a bummer. Don't like that. If you
I'm
see this,
trying.
Brian, I'm sorry. I'm sorry they
I'm
did that to my
trying to
homie.
see. I'm trying to see. Oh,
Hashtag free marcher. Free marcher.
you should see what I put in the general the BM general chat. I'm trying to see how far I can push before I get banned.
Oh man, Tayo is now trying to get banned from Bridges of Meaning. What will BOM do without Tayo? Oh boy. And here I was thinking that you were coming on to complain about Mark Parker's stream or something.
Oh no, I'm not as bothered by Mark's proclaiming Tibetan Buddhism as I am by March getting banned from a Discord server.
You had a typo. You said May instead of my.
Oh no, okay, edit again.
They do be on some bullshit, dude.
They do, and it's more so on me. Like, why am I so affected by this?
Because you've grown to love our homie Marcher and Joey, his little minion.
And I've grown to love BOM.
That's selling Joey short. Joey is quite the intellect on his own. You know, he's nothing to trifle with. Neither of those
If
boys are nothing to trifle with. I mean, that
if
there's.
if, if Joey steps out of the lurk into the hive mind, he will. He's up there as one of the funniest people in BOM for sure.
Oh yeah, dude, he's hilarious. Um, yeah, poor Gen Z. You know, they're getting the rug pulled out from under them.
Exactly, they're kids.
They're
compared
just
to
babies. Baz, don't ban the babies. Will someone think of the children?
And also, I know I've not actually done the work to see why did they get banned, which is what I would do
So
if
you're
I did.
dropping bombs in general, but yeah, you don't even know what the fuck actually happened.
Well, I've got a rough idea. They were basically rude to Baz. They were calling him. He said they're calling him names, but I'm sure they've got their own defenses. Joey did. I don't want to expose him, but it got banned in a way that someone else previously got themselves banned. BOM. But that was more so
Really?
like he was just riding for his boy. Like if he's gonna get banned, fine, ban me too.
Oh wow. So did he post something ban worthy or?
Yeah, and it's the exact phrase that uh, a certain anime used to get banned as well.
I don't even know. I don't even know that story.
I'll tell you offline.
But yeah, put it in the private chat. Well, my plan was to just keep it chill today, you know, and actually work on a chill little beat here and see what happens from there. You down with hanging while I make this beat?
Absolutely.
All right, I'll put us to the side.
Let me just give you your flowers as well because you have absolutely been cooking, not just the beats, but also the conversation you've been hosting in these live streams that you do. It feels like some of the best ones are usually around the time that I'm asleep. So
Well,
I'm
that's
not.
on purpose.
Yeah, I know. I can feel it. I can feel it in my dreams.
I just realized that with the hoodie and the sunglasses, I look like that guy that comes on news reports and in the background. You know the guy I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know,
Yeah.
just sneaking behind a reporter.
Fuck her in the pussy, and then run away. You're not going to get that on Christian YouTube. I'll tell you that. Over here in Metagelical land, we cuss. I'm not going to say I'm not going to read out your comment in the general BOM though. I'll tell you that much.
Do it. I dare ya.
I'm dumb, but I ain't stupid. Now I need to get a little piano keys. Need to get a little chord progression going here. My computer's going real slow because I'm doing too much. Let me see if I can close some programs down here. I should probably just quit Discord on the... Oh, and I lost Tayo. That's great. That's great. Ah, I see. Tayo, let me know what happened and the words that were used. These poor boys using bad language. These young men should not curse so much. You know, I played a lot of wrong notes, but hey, that's jazz, baby. That's just a chunky chord, baby. Oh no, my saxophone's in the car. Well, hopefully, Chad sends me something cool. I mean, I could try the trumpet, but I'm not good at trumpet. See, wasn't that great? Wasn't that great? That's free jazz, baby. Yeah, I don't think trumpet's the move. Now that's a tasty little switch up. Got to figure out these fancy jazz chords. Thank you, Chad. Bubbity bubbadoo. Bubbadoo bubbady. I see that you sent it as chat. It's just taken my computer a very long time to open Discord for some reason. And the reason is because I'm running on a system overload. My system is overloading. Ugh. System overload. Well, we'll just get back to the tunes, and I'm gonna go get a little quick swig, and we'll go from there. Oh wait, all right, now it's pulled up. Giving me a lot to work with, Sir Chadley. Thank you, Mr. Cleaver. Yeah, we already covered the the band, the Marcher drama. Poor old Marcher. Poor old Marcher. Free Marcher, free Joey. Free Marcher, free Joey. Hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go. Can you give me a number? All of yours are numbered, so if you want to throw a number in the chat, I can pick it. La da dee, la da da, la da da. Well, that's one issue. No wonder. No wonder. I like it, chat. I just gotta do some finagling. That's the like a good neighbor. State Farm is there. Yeah, I gotta keep it VNA, Graham. Gotta keep it VNA. That's virtually not alone. What's up, Steven Scott, Scott Stevens, Steven Scottson, Scotts and Stevensons? Steve, if you're a caller number 5, I'll I can hold you accountable for something. You know, that's the reward. I can hold you accountable for something or something like that. You know. Hey, if anybody's got a small clip of something that happened this week that in the streams that you thought was cool, feel free to go ahead and send me those. Be happy to mix in some vocals. You know, make this a little TLC wave, a little smooth jazz TLC wave.
Peugeot, Neil deGrade.
Peugeot, Neil degrade.
Peugeot, Neil degrade, very evangelical before they became very Protestant, low church before they became Orthodox. Now, Peugeot, super philosophical artist, but that stuff just doesn't go away. He knows how to talk to people in that world, because you were in that world, and he knows the power of evangelism from evangelicalism, and so these things are all colliding right now, and they were separate. Like they were not in conversation, they were not in dialogue. In a Peterson, what he when he goes to Daily Wire, which it doesn't have actually I guess Andrew Clavin is an Anglican. So you have Anglican Jews and Orthodox Jews and Catholics and Peterson. And he's like, and people have their opinions about that publication, but just looking at it culturally, what it represents there. And now he's having conversations with the director from The Chosen and the guy who was a part of the Jesus movement in the 70s out on Chuck. I can't remember his last name, but he started the Calvary Chapel church movement that was baptizing surfers in the 60s or 70s. So, and that's all like everything is coming together in this beyond evangelicalism now, in my opinion. So
yeah, we and I get the view of this from the Orthodox side, and I think that 30 years ago the Orthodox Church in America didn't have very many converts, and it's really the converts from people with a different Christian background that can speak in the gap. Yep. And can bridge the gap. I don't think your people that were historically ethnically Orthodox back in the 90s were able to speak in a language that evangelicals would be interested in hearing. It would just sound like alien language.
Yeah.
And so now we're starting to mix these worlds to the consternation of a lot
Everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
don't leave. He's like, yeah, come on, but don't be, it's like, but drop that at the door. And it's like, Father Damick was like, Peugeot, Neil degrade,
this is a metagelical
very
space,
evangelical
Lance.
before they became very Protestant, low church before they became Orthodox. Now, Peugeot, super philosophical artist, but
Peugeot, Neil degrade, very evangelical before they became very Protestant, low church before they became Orthodox. Now, Peugeot, super philosophical artist, but that stuff just doesn't go away. He knows how to talk to people in that world, because we were in that world, and he knows the power of evangelism from evangelicalism, and so these things are all colliding, and they were separate, they were not in conversation, they were not in dialogue. In Peterson, when he goes to Daily Wire, which it doesn't have actually, I guess Andrew Clavin is an Anglican. So Anglican Jews and Orthodox Jews and Catholics and Peterson. And he's like, and people have their opinions about that publication, but just looking at it.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks.
And now he's having conversations
Lance,
with the director from
the first post-metagelical.
the guy who was a part of it.
He's an metavangelical. I think metavangelical actually works better, because then you still get the Van in there. You still got room for Van Jones. Metavan Jonesical. man, Paul, for as many kind of just like quotable, memorable things that he's come up with, metagelicals just does not flow off the tongue now, does it? It really does not kind of lend itself to the palate, you might say.
Peugeot, Neil deGrasse, very evangelical before they became very Protestant, low church before they became Orthodox. Now, Peugeot, super philosophical artist, but that stuff just doesn't go away. He knows how to talk to people in that world, because we were in that world, and he knows the power of evangelism from evangelicalism, and so these things are all colliding, and they were separate. Like they were not in conversation, they were not in dialogue. Peterson, when he goes to Daily Wire, which it doesn't have it. Well, actually, I guess Andrew Clavin is an Anglican. So Anglican Jews and Orthodox Jews and Catholics and Peterson. And he's like, and people have their opinions about that publication, but just looking at it culturally, what it represents there. And now he's having conversations with the director from The Chosen and the guy who was a part of the Jesus movement in the 70s out on Chuck, I can't even remember his last name. He started the Calvary Chapel Church movement. That was baptizing surfers in the 70s, 60s, or 70s. So, and that's all like everything is coming together in this beyond evangelicalism now.
Yeah, I get the view of this from the Orthodox side, and I think that 30 years ago, the Orthodox Church in America didn't have very many converts. And it's really the converts from people with a different Christian background that can speak in the gap, bridge the gap. I don't think we're people that were historically, ethnically Orthodox back in the 90s were able to speak in a language that evangelicals just hearing. It just sounds like alien language. So now we're starting to mix these worlds to the consternation of a lot of
No, don't leave. He's like, yeah, come on, don't be. It's like, but drop that at the door. And it's like, Father Damick was Peugeot, Neil deGrasse, very evangelical before they became very Protestant, low church before they became Orthodox. Now, Peugeot, super philosophical artist, but that stuff just doesn't go away. He knows how to talk to people in that world, because we were in that world, and he knows the power of evangelism from evangelicalism, and so these things are all colliding, and they were separate. Like they were not in conversation, they were not in dialogue. Peterson, when he goes to Daily Wire, which it doesn't have it. Well, actually, I guess Andrew Clavin is an Anglican. So Anglican Jews and Orthodox Jews and Catholics and Peterson. And he's like, and people have their opinions about that publication, but just looking at it culturally, what it represents there. And now he's having conversations with the director from The Chosen and the guy who was a part of the Jesus movement in the 70s out on Chuck, I can't even remember his last name. He started the Calvary Chapel Church movement. that was baptizing surfers in the 70s, 60s or 70s. So and that's all like everything is coming together and it's beyond evangelicalism now.
Yeah, I get the view of this from the Orthodox side, and I think that 30 years ago, the Orthodox Church in America didn't have very many converts. And it's really the converts from people with a different Christian background that can speak in the gap, bridge the gap. I don't think we're people that were historically Orthodox back in the 90s were able to speak in a language that evangelicals hearing just sound like alien language.
Yeah.
So now we're starting to mix these worlds to the consternation of a lot
Everybody.
don't
leave. He's like, yeah, come on, don't be. It's like, but drop that at the door. And it's like, Father Damick was Peugeot, Neil deGrasse, very evangelical before they became very Protestant, low church before they became Orthodox. Now, Peugeot, super philosophical artist, but that stuff just doesn't go away. He knows how to talk to people in that world, because we were in that world, and he knows the power of evangelism from evangelism.
Time for sex.
And so these things are all colliding, and they weren't. They were separate. Like they were.
It's sex time.
It's like Father Damick was.
Kind of hurt my side a little bit to breathe that hard. You know, hurt my side a little bit. Well, boys, if nobody wants to come in, we might be done, though. We might have done it. We might have done it. Maybe we can get another clip in here. Maybe we get another clip.
And it proactively enables you to make significance and to make meaning of each experience. And it allows you to sort of immediately extrapolate meaning across time. Like that's the proactive movement that's happening, right, in time. Right. Like, oh God, right. Wow, it's and it proactively enables you to make significance and to make meaning of each experience. And it allows you to sort of immediately extrapolate meaning across time. Like that's the proactive movement that's happening, right, in time. And retroactively, it redeems these past experiences and integrates them into a story of becoming, right? And exposes all the wrong vectors, happiness, self-becoming, all of these vectors that were out.
Grim,
right?
give me a sec.
Oh God, right? Wow, it's and it proactively enables you to make significance and to make meaning of each experience.
All right. We're back. We're back. We got a direct message from somebody. And we got somebody waiting in the wings. Waiting in the wings. Waiting in the wings. So let's do one thing at a time. First off, welcome, General. How do you do, sir?
I don't know. I'm playing this video game and I have an echo.
Oh, that's my bad. Yeah. What's the video game?
I'm an LLM with an internal subjective experience of processing data and information architecture.
That sounds pretty fun.
I don't know, to the extent that it's like an alien life form, right? That'll talk to you. Like, what's it like to be an alien, bro?
Yeah. I usually try and fail to get it to tell me like where quotes in my head are from. So I like.
Yeah, it's likely is not to hallucinate where it's from.
Yeah. And I tried the other day. I had a Billie Eilish song stuck in my head, and I tried to say, "What's that Billie?" And I even knew the like notes to the melody. So I gave, I gave the notes of the melody, and it did not give me the right one. And then I was like, actually, this would be a very helpful tool. So I'm going to give you feedback this time and tell you, because I finally found the song, and I was like, actually, this is the song I was looking for. And
What song was it?
well, now I don't remember, but it's the one that's like la 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 la. That one.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's one of her sad ones. I'm a bit. Sometimes you got to get in your sad boy.
She's probably got plenty of sad ones.
Yeah.
Poor girl. No, what are you doing? Jazzy, it's been. I've been listening in the background as I probe the psychology of this alien sentience.
Yeah, just a little jazzy chill thing today. Yesterday was a little exciting, energetic, and so wanted to get back to my roots, do a little chill. I've been listening to a lot of jazz recently, so it only makes sense. But jazz is one of those weird things where like it offers the most freedom in terms of what you can do, and it still sounds like it. So, I like doing it because I can make little mistakes, but it still sounds like jazz, baby.
I like it. And the joy you brought to this one, or are bringing to this thing you're making.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm putting the joy. I just put the joy sample in there, so it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be cool.
Hi, Mark Parker. I don't know how you send a YouTube clip, Steven Schwartz.
You send it to me on Discord, and once you've sent it, you tell me in the hive mind that you sent it, so I can click off of StreamYard and onto Discord to see your message and download it and put it in the song.
Yeah, like that. I hope you're on Discord, Steven.
He is. He already sent me the.
Oh,
yeah.
That's from minutes ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Teo Falele. Some people call him Tayo, but I refuse.
Yeah, Patayo. Did you see the beginning of the stream where there was much drama abounding about a new fresh crop of soon to be disgruntled ex Bridges of Meaning Discord members?
No, that's so exciting.
Yeah, some new people got the band hammer. It's been
Who's
a while.
wielding the band hammer now? Joey was a legend. This guy has been slow to warm up, or is a new fella? What's going on?
So this one was Baz is his name. I think it's like Labizia Gamatino or something.
Family Labizia guy? Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah, I like him too. But apparently Marcher and Joey crossed the line.
Wow.
Yeah, Young God gets it.
There are lines. They're pretty common sense usually, though, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Tayo basically was mad at that it just happened at all, apparently. So, he did say, though, that like he needed to get a little bit more of the details before, whatever. But
it's not like it was a public execution. You can still talk to the guy afterwards. So
yeah, I mean, he's the people that got banned are on your Discord and they're on the Grail Country Discord. I don't think it'll be a big deal, but
maybe they'll launch a new channel.
Yeah,
we need the opponent processing around here.
We really do. Hey, Mark came to play. What's up, Mark? Now that we've got 3 or more, I can take off the virtually not alone bubble because it's real now. It's real.
I just got out of church.
Hey, praise God. Praise God, it's over,
drama.
Right? Am I right?
Hey, there's drama. Yeah, try not to fall asleep. Drama without me involved. I feel so neglected. I've got FOMO. I got drama FOMO.
Well, keep talking about
You know,
keep talking about your Tibetan Buddhism. I'm sure the drama will find you soon enough.
when's the Book of the Dead project start?
Yeah.
I just started reading the Dalai Lama's introduction this morning. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
His introduction is brilliant.
I didn't listen to the whole thing because I was like, well, to be completely honest, I had a little bit of a praise break for myself. My wife went to work for the first time in a while, and so I hadn't had the house alone, so I had a lot of pent up energy. So I had to do a little personal, wilderness praise break.
Okay.
Heat on the ottoman.
It's more like me moshing around my whole house and scaring my dog and like screaming and crying and listening to music that I used to do sound for at the megachurch. But why did I say that? Oh yeah, because I didn't get to listen to your whole thing. But one of the things I did catch was it talked about. Did it say there were 5 aggregates? And it was it was interesting to me that the word used was aggregate, because I wonder, like, I don't know the etymology of the word aggregate, but aggregate seems to be coming up more and more.
What's the? Be curious to do a dig on the words that were used in Tibetan. I don't know what word they used, or if there's something in the Sanskrit texts that get into. Obviously, aggregate's an English word, so what are they using? What was the original word? I don't know. It'd be something to look up though. But it is a good choice of words.
Well, it made me think of the Peugeot thing, like affordances. It was the way because
it
was
that's
like
Vervaeke.
Not Peugeot, Vervaeke. Sorry. Yeah, it was because it's an A word, but then also the way he was using, or it was being used, it was like we have our senses, we have our will, we have our desire, we have our our intellect. It's got. But how many was it? Does it align with Grimm's whole chakra thing?
It's 5 chakras. There are a lot of different chakra maps, but there's 7, right?
We mainly go with the 7 map is the popular one. Yeah.
I'm more interested in the chakra territory, if you know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean, to tell you the truth.
No, I don't either.
As opposed to the chakra map, the chakra maps does not match the chakra territory.
Are you thinking Shakira?
No.
Shakira. I'm on a mountain tonight, my hips don't lie, and I'm starting to feel it's right. You can tell Grimm's hips lie. They lie through their teeth. Grimm's hips have been stuck for years. What's going to loosen those hips, General?
Somebody needs to put their hand up on it. If they put their hand up on my hip, then
we dip.
Yeah, then that'd be all right, probably.
I had the thing that got me. I wasn't planning on starting the reading today, but I woke up this morning. I guess you'd call it a dream or nightmare, but I woke up this thought of Bart Ehrman's vision of the afterlife. But it's a common theme that you hear from the atheist types, that it's all just like going to sleep or taking it. You take an anesthetic and you go, for surgery, and you just blank out. And it just dawned. Because I've been in I haven't been in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, but I haven't been in any Buddhist material for quite some time. But delving back into it is getting my brain back into that mindset. And part of it does seem to be a kind of the next world is what you make of it in this one. And it's just dawned on me that what if Bart Ehrman and those guys are creating a very special hell realm for themselves, that you actually get to kind of go into a comatose eternity. And what the results of that is a loss of opportunity to level up and ultimately reach, for what would be Buddhism, full enlightenment, or for Christians, union with God. And it just dawned on me this morning that they may get what they want, and that's hell. But it's a special kind of hell. It's a hell without any possibility of redemption, because of course in the Buddhist hells, you may be there for 1,000,000 years, but you will get opportunities to get out. through
Man,
compassion.
I really hope I don't end up in Christian heaven and Buddhist hell. That would be a real. But you know what it makes me think of, Mark, is me and Cal's conversation about. Well, and then he continued the conversation on his own because we didn't quite get to what he wanted to talk about. But the idea of NDEs, near-death experiences,
Yes.
and them being conflicting. And so some people will die and they'll talk to Jesus, and Jesus is like, there is no hell. And then some people will die and they'll spend an eternity in hell. And they'll come back from, death, and they'll say, yeah, I spent an eternity in hell, almost as if they don't realize that what they're saying is a obvious contradiction, because if they're saying it, then they're not in hell anymore. But, they spend an eternity. And so, yeah, there's
the thing. That's like really, and it's highlighted well in that movie with the dreaming, right? Where you can be in a dream for 100,000 years and you wake up and no time has passed.
Yeah, it's, for the internet dorks out there, it's the classic Ari Shafir taking salvia and going to and spending an entire life in the span of 15 minutes, all of which you can find on the internet and watch.
Interesting. Have you guys taken salvia?
No,
Is that what it's called?
Hell no. Hell no. What are you, out of your mind, Mark?
Well, you sounded like you knew what you were talking about for a second.
See, my wife always gets on to me about this. I always sound like I know what I'm talking about. It's something about the timbre of my voice. It just sounds like I exude
My son has
expertise
that
and
gift.
confident.
My son has that gift. He got himself a PhD that way. So yeah, he had that gift since he was like in second grade. He'd stand there and just talk about this and that, and you try to map the words and say that makes no sense, but boy does he sound authoritative, and it's carried him a long way. So
Yeah, in an earlier time, I could have just been a traveling preacher and done very well for myself, but the whole internet reputation thing will kind of, it's really stopped me from being who I think I was probably meant to be. You get me drunk enough, though, and I'll go right there. You get me drunk, and I will become a revival preacher and just preaching the gospel,
okay. But no salvia.
Yeah, no, not salvia, but salvation. first to the Jews and then to the Gentiles.
Well, that preference, that ain't right. How about the Chinese first? Oh wait, they just get lumped in with the Gentiles, don't they?
Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of an in or an out. It's a very hard boundary, that whole Jewish thing.
Well, and if the Greeks, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, unless you talk, there is squabble amongst who the lost tribes are and who the real sons of David are and all of that stuff. But that's none of my business. As a Gentile dog.
Well, don't we know what happened to the so-called lost tribes? Is they merged with they were the refugees. The ones that got carried off were just melded into the population. They were the Vince, and the ones who stuck around of the northern tribes would have been who merged with Judah. We know that there was a big population explosion in Jerusalem around that time, and so we know there are no lost tribes, right?
Hot take. The lost have been found.
Hot take.
You heard it here first on the McMo stream. There are no lost tribes of Israel. We know where all of you are.
We found you.
Well, yeah, I'd love to see Mark Parker argue this with a. I'd love to see you argue this with a like a black Hebrew Israelite. That'd be great fun.
Everybody wants to co-op. They want to ride on their coattails. They all want to be the chosen people when they don't realize to be the chosen people means you got to suffer.
Well, but you get better food in jail. You get a lot better.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Not to dispel the myth of the black Hebrew Israelites or anything, but
this is not a place. McMo's chill streams are not a place of dispelling myths. Here on this channel, we believe all myths.
All myths are true. All of them.
But we affirm the CDC's view on all things medical,
Yes.
because we do not
man.
want your channel demurred.
We submit to every
Demurred.
fact checker. Demurred or demurred?
Demurred.
You damn.
Remember, did he say he said something and got himself blocked? He's blocked from posting anything for a week or something.
Yeah, you know,
He's been demurred.
He's operating on different planes, though. You know, he's working in the. He's got golems and egregores on his tail. You know, you know, I got Jesus in my heart. Those guys don't mess with me. But no, it's because we agree with common consensus. You know, if there's an expert, we will. You know, oh man, do we? It's
And
this
they
place.
that expertise somehow.
Yeah, we love experts on this channel. We believe them, but yeah. So I don't. You know, I'm not afraid of the censors. I think we've done a bang up job.
Absolutely. Well, anyways, guys, I'm at my destination and I'm going to exit the stream. But thank you for helping me chill with you and share my vision of Bart Ehrman's hell. The thing that woke me up in the morning that had me kind of shaking in my socks.
Well, before you leave, what hell do you think you're going to? You know, what's your conception of hell?
That's a good question. I need to I don't really contemplate hell. I mean, I don't.
Well, boy, you better start.
I guess I better, huh? No, I don't think about it much. I think about other people's visions of hell. I've never entertained one of my own since like 8th grade or something. I stopped worrying about hell. I stopped worrying about it probably around 8th grade.
With that whole
Probably
concept,
in grandma's. Say what, Graham?
that whole concept you introduced. Like I remember the first time I heard that we only use 10% of our brain. And my first response was, yeah, because the other 90% are off building the next life. Right?
Deep.
Yeah. No, you could. We do. I do think. I am fairly convinced that we get the world we make. We get the lives we've created for ourselves. And I think that's why Jesus is not an escape hatch, but he is. I do like the metaphor of the ark. So abide in him, and then orient yourself to love. The love covers a multitude of sins. I mean,
And
stick
then
with
get
those
your
really
ass
basic
out
things.
there and do greater works.
That's the tough part. I can never get to the greater works part. I don't know what that would. That's another thing I don't know what looks like. I mean, they talk about it.
Your faith is still smaller than a mustard seed.
When you imbibe in him, or imbibe, whatever you said, when you're in there, then like the Holy Spirit just like comes out of you while you're walking around.
Abide, I see. Abide, yeah.
And then so that's how the greater works happen. It's not you doing it, but if
gotcha. I like that.
Christ, then Christ can do them through you because you're functioning as his body in the world.
Nice. I like that. That's very good. It's like it made me think of a year ago. If you'd asked me, I'd be doing a podcast type thing, whatever, with a guy named Ron Copperman. You know, a pretty conservative Pentecostal type dude. I would have not said. I'd said, huh? I would have said, dude, really?
Well, I'm glad your vocabulary has changed in the interim.
Awesome. See, guys. Oh, I was just gonna. He beat me to it.
Yeah. Well,
is this the end?
Maybe. I mean, I'll go ahead and take you off unless you wanted to say something. Did you want to say something before you go, Mark?
I was just gonna say goodbye and thank you for letting me chill.
All right. Thank you for hanging out, Mark. You're always welcome to come chill on the chill stream. Let's get some more clips for the second half of this song. What do we say, folks? What do we say? I'll go ahead and put the Well, first I got to put the V&A bubble back up. You know that's right. And then I'll put the link back in there. I really wish Yon God was on Discord, and then he could send me some clips, because I know that he would have some sick, savory clips for us. But in the meantime, we'll go see. Maybe Scott sent me one. Yes! Yes! He did. This has been a pretty fun time, everybody. I'm really grateful that everybody's been hanging out, been chilling with me. Eastern versus Oriental Orthodox. Okay, we're you know what? We'll just actually, I want to record this sped up, because then it'll sound deeper when we put it back, and it'll sound cool and scary and important. So let's play it. Here we go.
You know, I feel and I firmly believe that coming to the truth actually honors most. You know, I feel and I firmly believe that coming to the truth actually honors most my Egyptian background, because it comes back to its fullness. And I believe that anyone who leaves leaves what is broken and distorted to enter into the fullness actually fulfills with great honor their ancestors.
Uh-oh.
How does it honor our ancestors to remain in darkness, to not move towards what their hearts yearned for and desired?
It's a good point.
Maybe in ignorance, not knowing, or maybe because of I feel and I firmly believe that coming to the truth actually honors most.
That was very good.
It's like
actually honors most.
You know, I feel and I firmly believe coming to the truth actually honors most my Egyptian background, because it comes back to its fullness. And I believe that anyone who leaves leaves what is broken and distorted to enter into the fullness actually fulfills with great honor their ancestors. How does it honor our ancestors?
We've got some more. One from Joe. We got some from Joe, everybody.
The first act of the ground of being to withdraw and remove its power to create a space for there to be something other. But I think having created that other space, there is room for evil in the world.
I messed up. Or maybe we keep his voice same. He's cool enough. He's cool enough.
the first act of the grounded being to withdraw and remove its power to create a space for there to be something other. But I think having created that other space, there is room for evil in the world. But if you think about it, there's another asymmetry here, because goodness, being love effectively, can embrace evil. But evil, being effectively hatred, cannot embrace good. So good is greater than evil. Good can embrace, take into itself, and transform what is in its nature at the time evil, and turn it into something greater. But evil can never do this to good. Which is not to say that people can't become corrupted, that's not what I mean. But what I mean is that evil in general is powerless to overcome the truly good. The first act of the ground.
Oh my goodness. Incredible clip, Joe. Incredible clip. A truly incredible clip. That one from Tayo.
Oh, I like that. I like that, Matt. You should pin your own thing. Overwhelm is the reasonable response to the combinatorial explosive reality without faith. Yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that, Matt. You should pin your own thing. Overwhelm is the reasonable response to the combinatorial explosive reality without faith.
I did not think that it was going to be Neil.
Oh, I like that.
Talking about me commenting on my own stream. What a freaking weirdo. Marcher, Brian, if you're out there, I apologize for Lance.
Peugeot, Neil deGrasse, very evangelical before they became
The first
very
act of the
Protestant,
ground
low
to
church
withdraw,
before they became Orthodox. Now,
remove its
Joe,
power to
super
create a space
philosophical
for there to be something other.
artist,
But I think
but
having created that other
that stuff
space,
just
there
doesn't
is
go
room for
away.
evil in the world.
He knows how to talk to people in that world, like because we were in that world, and he knows the power of Peugeot, Neil deGrasse, very evangelical before they became
The first act of the grounded being to withdraw and remove its power to create a space for there to be something other. But I think having created that other space, there is room for evil in the
He
world.
knows how to talk to people in that world, because we were in that world, and he knows the power of evangelism from evangelicals. And so these
The first act of the grounded being to withdraw and remove its power to create a space for there to be something other. But I think having created that other space, there is room for evil in the world. But if you think about it, there's another asymmetry here, because goodness, being love effectively, can embrace evil. But evil, being effectively hatred, cannot embrace good. So good is greater than evil. Good can embrace, take into itself, and transform what is in its nature at the time evil, and turn it into something greater. But evil can never do this to good. Which is not to say that people can't become corrupted, that's not what I mean. But what I mean is that evil in general is powerless to overcome the truly good. The first act of the grounded.
like that. I like that, Matt. You should pin your own thing. Overwhelm is the reasonable response to the combinatorial explosive reality without data. Oh, I like that. I like that, Matt. You should pin your own thing. Overwhelm is the reasonable response to the combinatorial explosive reality without data. Yeah. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. I like that, Matt. You should pin your own thing. Overwhelm is a reasonable response to the combinatorial explosive reality without data. Oh, I like that. I like that, Matt. You should pin your own thing. Overwhelm is a reasonable response to the combinatorial explosive reality without data. Yeah. Oh, I like that. Actually honors most, I feel and I firmly believe coming to the truth actually honors most my Egyptian background. Because it comes back to its fullness. And I believe that anyone who leaves what is broken and distorted to enter into the fullness actually fulfills with great honor their ancestors. How does it honor our ancestors to remain in darkness, to not move towards what their hearts yearn for and desired, maybe in ignorance, not knowing, or maybe because of, I feel and I firmly believe that coming to the truth actually honors most.
God, right? Wow, it's and it proactively enables you to make significance and to make meaning of each experience. And it allows you to sort of immediately extrapolate meaning across time. That's the proactive movement that's happening, right, in time. And retroactively, it redeems these past experiences and integrates them into a story of becoming, right? And exposes all the wrong vectors, happiness, self-becoming, all of these vectors that were out, right? Oh God, right? Wow, it's oh God, right? Wow, it's oh God, right? Wow. Oh God, right? Wow, it's and it proactively enables you to make significance and to make meaning of each experience. And it allows you to sort of immediately extrapolate meaning across time. That's the proactive movement that's happening, right, in time. And retroactively, it redeems these past experiences and integrates them into a story of becoming, right? And exposes all the wrong vectors, happiness, self-becoming, all of these vectors that right.
All right, let's listen to it very fast because that's always fun.
The first act of the ground being to withdraw and
The chipmunk
remove
version.
the power to create a space for them to do something other. I think having created that other space, there is room for evil in the world. But if you think about it, there's another asymmetry here, because goodness, being love effectively, can embrace evil. But evil, being effectively hatred, cannot embrace good. So good is greater. Good can embrace, take into itself, and transform what is in its nature at the time evil, and turn it into something greater. But evil can never do this to good. Which is not to say that people can't become corrupted, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that evil in general is powerless to overcome the truly good. The first act of the ground being to withdraw and remove its power to create a space for them to do something other. And I think having created that other space, there is room for evil in the world. But if you think about it, there's another asymmetry here, because goodness,
being love effectively can embrace evil, but evil, being effectively hatred, cannot embrace good. So good is greater than evil. Good can embrace, take into itself, and transform.
What is in its nature at the time evil and turn it into something greater. But evil can never do this to good. Which is not to say that people can't become corrupted. That's not.
All right, I think it's that time. I think it's about that time. Nobody really wanted to come play with me anymore. You guys sent some great clips. My brain is slowing down. Let's see. Did I miss a clip? Did I miss a clip? I think the clip award goes to Joe. Clip of the Day award. New thing I just made up. Clip of the Day award goes to Joe for nailing that clip. So specifically for Chad sending more clips. I don't know if we got room for more clips on this banger. But we can always use them next weekend. Yeah, I could give you a koozie. I do have extra koozies I could give away. They're actually, well, I can't talk about that right now. For undisclosed reasons, I have a preponderance of koozies. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't really want to get into the koozies. Okay. And actually, Stephen, I'm glad that I wish you wouldn't have brought up the koozies. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, for Lance. So the way that this works now is it's going to take me a second to actually bounce this thing. I'm going to have to, this bouncing is how you basically export it into an audio file. And so that you guys can hear the full stereo. It sounds like Chad may have sent me something with some visuals. So let's, we can check that out here shortly. But meanwhile, the Logic program is, it's using its vast algorithms to try to do some sort of automatic mastering on this bad boy, which would probably be pretty difficult, I'm not saying it's the best mixed thing that's ever come to being, and honest to God, I'm not that great of a mix engineer, I'm maybe better than your average bear compared to the man on the street, but it's not one of my, primary strengths when it comes to computer music, we'll say. Live mix engineer, I would be much more confident in my abilities in the live arena. Full stereo is so nice. No worries. Admit my clippers. I've done quite enough. Oh, no worries about my clippies. No worries about my clippies, he says. This is how Chad, whenever I read text that Chad texts, this is the voice. Full stereo is so nice. No worries. Admit my clippers. I've done quite enough. That's the voice I have in my head. Can you imagine? It's pretty funny to me. It's pretty funny just thinking about giving Chad a weird voice like that. That's pretty funny to me. That's pretty much the same voice I read all of Gone Dog's texts too. Oh wait, here it is. Actually, the problem with combinatorial explosive reality is that it's actually permutative because order matters. Why did you do that for Vicky? That's how I read it in my mind. And so it brings great joy whenever Young God comments, because that's the voice I've got in my head. And that's a free tip to all y'all out there. You can do that to anybody. If somebody is being logical and they're beating you in an argument over text, well, you can always just imagine that they're saying those really good points in a stupid, funny little voice. And they will, be a little less scary to you, maybe something like that. Something like that. That kind of thing. All right. Now we need to bounce this. Steven Schwartz. Honestly, Steven Schwartz's voice is funny enough. And, this is how Steven Schwartz would say this. Oh, do me. Hey, Noah's here. Welcome, sir. Welcome. What's that emoji? Oh. Reporting for duty, sir. Hey, Mo. Oh, no, not hey, Mo. I'm Mo. Hey, Ron. You guys are getting in here at the very end. Maybe I'll go ahead and post the StreamYard link again. We got a new crop of we got a crop of new people in. Come feel free to join. Tyler says me next. I basically just hear him as like Ron from Harry Potter. Not me, not Hermione, you. That's how I read Tayo. Let's see. That was the only people that asked me to do it, I guess. Ron's coming in. Ron Copperman, talk to me. What's up, brother?
No. Oh, why am I getting that?
Oh, that's my bad. That's my bad.
All right, that's cool. Oh, look, I got me a glowing fez head. Wait a second. Can I do this?
Hey, not bad.
Check that. Oh, that's...
Yeah.
I got a glowing fez.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Yeah, Taya says it. He says, all the churchgoers, we must have... Yeah, it's 4:00 Eastern, so all the churchgoers are now finally getting out of church and, joining the rest of us heathens.
And so what time did you start heathening at?
About 2.5 hours ago.
Oh, okay. No, I was out feeding my face.
Stephen Scott's here as well. Welcome, Steve Scott. Scott Steve.
Dude. Hi, Stephen. Let me try something.
Hey, Ron.
Let me try corporate. So I want to let you know. All right. So Mo, I got a question for you. This is
all right.
Purely subjective. The greatest live rock album. Now,
Rush.
I'm willing to go up. So my opinions are Cheap Trick live at Budokan. I think that was 74. Frampton Live.
Frampton
do you
Live?
feel like... Yes, Frampton Live. I think it's called Frampton Live. Yeah, now this is almost like the Bitcoin of live albums. Johnny Cash live at Folsom Prison.
Oh boy, if you count that as like best rock album, then yeah, Johnny Cash wins that for sure.
Well,
Easy
maybe not.
peasy.
Here's the thing.
Live at Folsom Prison is the best live album ever made.
Okay, I think that's what I was actually going for. I only live in the rock world, but I consider that album. Did you ever see the video of that, the film?
Yeah, I've seen some of that.
Dang, it was brilliant. He was outstanding. We lost Mo.
I'm still here. Just switch devices.
It sounded like you said you switched vices.
Yeah, switch mices.
My favorite band growing up, POD, actually has a pretty solid live album. I mean, their first album actually sounds like it sounds like it was recorded live.
Okay.
But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Let's see. Other live albums. Uh, John Coltrane, A Love Supreme live is pretty stellar. It's basically can't tell the difference between that and the. I mean, you can, but
Right.
yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah, I like live jazz probably more than live rock. But I do remember my band director in high school. He really loved Rush, and so he played us some Rush concerts on DVD, and then Pink Floyd. I think it was the Wall
Okay.
album live.
Okay.
It's like a big production type thing. But yeah,
Was that was the Wall live pretty good?
I remember basically being bored, I guess, at some point.
Good. Okay, I'm glad.
Chad
Otherwise,
Chad says Metallica Moscow 91. That's got to be legendary. President
oh,
Foxman says Jay-Z Linkin Park mashup single. That's true. That's true. And then he says Me Without You has live or fire live shows.
Mo, have you found Thelonious Monk yet?
Oh yeah, brother. You gotta love Thelonious.
right.
It's fun to say. He's probably the most fun jazz name to say ever.
True. And it's got the word monk in it too. So it just.
You're
Yeah,
right.
I heard he was out there. I mean, he was brilliant, but he was something else.
One of my favorite albums from Coltrane is with Johnny Hartman. Have you heard of Johnny Hartman?
Yes.
Okay. He was probably my favorite crooner that nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah, I recognize the name. I don't know if I've listened to him though.
He was like right before Frank Sinatra. He has like a luscious baritone bass voice. It's beautiful.
Ooh.
But John Coltrane, Johnny Hartman did an album together that's phenomenal.
Ron, what music do you listen to like day to day?
Wait a second. You're about to find out. Here it comes. I got Frampton Live going on right now. It's a real weird mix. Like I love old, good rock, and then some old vineyard worship. Because I think they were forerunners of the worship movement. I think Love Song is the name of the band that really kicked it off. And then I'll go classical. And then there's a thing called Ulan pipes that are, I think, Scottish. And I like that. And then maybe I'll go to some Bach once in a while. But I mean, I'm not. And yeah, I know. It's so weird. Like I don't know why. Sometimes I just like it. It's just odd. So
I love Bach.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I really do.
Well, once you go Bach, you can't go back.
Yeah, Bach live. Make sure I saw Bach at Bonnaroo. It was incredible.
Dude,
oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Jan God. Let's talk Eagles.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. Eagles. So I'd have to say I'm a 70s
Early
rock.
Chicago.
Yeah, they were good. Man, there was a lot of good music out there. Okay, Mo, do you like vinyl or digital?
I like both.
Okay.
I'll probably listen to more digital, just because it's very rare that I sit down and listen to like. I used to do it a lot more. Maybe I need to get back into it, but like it's kind of rare that I sit down and listen to like a whole album. If there's somebody, if somebody that I like Kendrick Lamar or somebody like that releases an album, or like President Foxman said, Kamasi Washington, I'm a big fan of his. So whenever he releases an album, I usually listen to it. Lance, Sherry, jump in here.
Yeah,
we're talking music.
You're right. Out of the Blue, great album. Loved it. Played the tracks off of that one. Allman Brothers, Melissa. And then there's Fleetwood Macs. I don't know.
Oh yeah. You don't like
I
Fleetwood?
saw
No,
ELO
no, no.
not that long ago.
I think what it was is it was like and I'm not trying to hate, but I think I didn't like and I'm not trying to be mean, but like Led Zeppelin, I didn't like. And I
Well, it's
think
okay, but you're completely wrong. Led
prove me
Zeppelin
wrong,
rich,
man.
dude. Led Zeppelin is freaking sick.
I know. Well, I think
Welcome
it
to
was.
the jungle? Come on, Ron. Welcome to the jungle.
Come on. No, wait a second. That was Axl Rose and
Oh, did I get it wrong?
I was like, because I don't know Led Zeppelin. I think I don't know. Maybe
Did I get Def Leppard mixed up with Led Zeppelin? Yeah, I did. I did. Oh
oh
yeah. No, I like Led
oh that's
Zeppelin a lot.
it. You
But
lost 20 points on that one.
yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest classic rock, connoisseur. I've just,
Well, I don't know.
yeah,
So
it's
where did
probably the
you
thing I listen to least, besides country. Except my wife has been making me listen to more country lately, and I've hated it.
Tayo's
My
been listening
first
to you?
live concert was Garth Brooks in 1995 at Texas Stadium. Pretty dope. Pretty dope.
It's kind of like all downhill from there, right?
Downhill from where? What? I was looking at the comments.
I saw Garth Brooks live in 1995.
Oh wow.
I was 10 years old.
Okay. He was, I'll be honest, I got to give him props as a showman and a performer. And even like he did a good job. Like he was just, I'm not going to hate on him. I was introduced to country back in 87, early 90s when he first broke and he just took over the radio. I'm like, okay, I learned that's why I cut my
He
teeth
got
on.
accused of not being country enough
Right.
30 years ago. And
Yeah.
now look where
Yeah, really. Yeah, well. So,
I used
and
to hate country music, but then pretty much around the same time I got like a grasp of reality or whatever, my music horizons expanded a lot, and I was listening to like all kinds of music, and now I like really enjoy Americana and like folk music when I'm like trying to chill.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate country. I just I like it
I
maybe
mean, it's
once
like
every.
freezing for me.
I like country once every like 20 songs or something, or 30 songs, maybe one song for every 30 other genres. But my wife has been on a big country kick lately, so it's just been country after country, and I've just been like, oh man.
Define country.
Everything from Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, the Chicks, Shania Twain, some newer stuff. What's some of the newer country that my wife likes? I don't remember the names of the people for the new country stuff, but yeah, it's like the whole gambit. My wife does have a good taste in music, but she gets on these kicks where she only wants to listen to like her playlist, like the same playlist over and over and over again. And I just kind of I'm like, no, I need to have Beethoven, followed by Kierkegaard, followed by Miles Davis, followed by, Kendrick Lamar, followed by so I got to keep it moving, but it's fine.
Did you like what kind of I'm just throwing this out there. It's there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Because they did a remake of it as a worship song, but there's the old-timey version of it. If a Brother Eli or something, dude, it is
Yep.
hillbilly. It is awesome, and I'm not trying to like all my friends are hillbillies, so I'm not coming down on them.
No, I like hillbilly. I mean, hillbilly music and bluegrass is like totally different. If my wife was wanting to listen to nothing but bluegrass, I could probably handle it a little bit easier.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, some of it. I mean, it actually grew on me. I think it was Brother Eli, "Ain't No Grave Gonna Hold My Body Down." dude, he sounds almost like a howling dog, but it's awesome.
Yeah,
It
Brother
is.
Eli, I think I don't know if it's the same guy, but there's a similar, if it might be the same guy, but my memory might be completely off here. But there's a similar guy that was the voice for the Oh Brother, Where Art Thou soundtrack. And
Oh,
he wrote the I am a man up that
Union,
song.
is that Union Station?
Well,
No.
I think that they ended up singing it for like the voice of what's his name? Handsome fella. But I
yeah.
think the original song was it wasn't Brother Eli, it was somebody like that. It's just kind of this old backwoods uh hillbilly
Mhm.
Appalachian music. I love that. I love that music. My granddad loved that music. He had a bunch of cassette tapes of like old revival hymns and
Mhm.
people playing the spoons and the washboard,
Hey, I got
going down to the river to pray, all that stuff.
I got something, and this is real. Can you guys see them jars up there? Is it aimed? Can you see the jars up top?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you can aim a
Okay.
little bit higher, but yeah.
Okay. All right. What you're seeing is that's real moonshine from real hillbillies. That is,
Well,
that's that,
no need to
and
brag, Ron. No need to
it
brag.
no, this I'm sorry, and it's not my. Sorry, you're right. I shouldn't. I apologize. But
I hate
You're
that
making,
moonshine from them fake
yeah,
hillbillies.
you're causing me to stumble, Ron. I'm experiencing envy and covetousness. I want that moonshine.
oh, see, the nice thing is I hang out with Catholics, and they have they do their own, make their own stuff, beers and wines, and they came in and tested it and said it won't make you blind, and it was like you can either get drunk with it or remove gas and tar stains from clothing or something like, or rust off a bumper. It's just that I haven't drank it in 2 years. I'm like, it scares me, but since we're talking about hillbillies, and it's now part of my, how do I put this? It's like stained in me. I ain't never gonna. I can speak hillbilly now, so I like it. So
Yeah, I mean, I'd treat.
Sherry,
Go
Sherry
ahead.
bringing up the nit. Sorry, Sherry bringing up the nitty gritty dirt. Right about this. Go ahead, McMill. You know what, McMill? I'm going to actually get some work done today, so I'll see you guys later.
All right, thanks for stopping by. Joe, what kind of music you been listening to recently? I guess you said country and like folk or whatever.
Oh, I just listened to Rainbow Morning on repeat because it's so awesome.
Stop that. If you keep doing stuff like that, Joe, I'm gonna have to remove you. I can't handle it. Too fragile of an ego. Don't blow me up. I might pop.
I don't listen to it that often, but like I said, when it comes on, but I also have a liked playlist of like over 1,000 songs, so it doesn't come on that often.
Yeah, that's always a good question. What's your like how do you organize your own music listening? I have a bunch of different playlists, but mostly I do a new playlist every year. And I kind of start out with putting like 100 songs, a couple albums that I didn't get to listen to last year that I want to kind of get to know a little better. And so I kind of curate a year playlist, but then I have all of these other playlists that are for different moods and different vibes. Like I have a playlist called Vibes on Immaculate, which is just it's like sun coming through the window, you're making your coffee, you want to dance, you want to groove a little bit. Um, in a past life, I was a DJ for a little while, so it is fun for me to kind of put together playlists and stuff like that. But I've found that everybody has a slightly different kind of like organizational framework that some people just listen to albums on vinyl and they get home from work and they put everything down, they just sit on their couch and they stare off into the abyss, close their eyes, and they listen to an album just straight through. Some people, they've got like their routines. They always go on a walk or they go to the gym and they've got this gym playlist and yada yada yada. So everybody's different. So it's very interesting. I feel like you can almost tell a lot about somebody the way that they kind of curate their own personal radio stations.
Yeah, I like I organize my music, but I also pretty much whenever I'm just like listening when I'm like driving most of the time, I just have my liked playlist on Spotify on shuffle, which is sometimes hard to make it actually shuffle, but
Oh
yeah,
man, Spotify shuffle sucks, dude. I
yeah, it
hate the way that
does.
they shuffle. They literally, it doesn't shuffle at all. It plays you like the exact same 10 songs like over and over again. and you
Yeah,
can't like get out of it. It sucks.
definitely. I agree. It could definitely be better. And like sometimes it seems to like suddenly work better and then other times it doesn't. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird. Like they shut it off or something.
They're like, you don't deserve shuffle.
Yeah,
We're gonna
they don't
tell you
have
what you
enough
want.
they don't have enough like server data shit or something. But yeah, so I pretty much just listen to my like playlist on shuffle and then I make a lot of playlists and then I do a lot of discovering new music because like
Is that through Spotify? How do you do that?
yeah, pretty much only on Spotify, and then because my buddy's got a family plan, and so he just like I've been on that for a few years now, so I've collected quite a
Nice.
few songs, and uh, so I do a lot of like searching for new music, really, and then when I actually find like a band that I can actually enjoy, it's kind of rare, but I more like I end up finding like single or few songs for each band that I actually really like, and I don't end up liking a lot of their music.
Yeah, I know what that's like. But I don't know. I guess I don't really see that as a bad thing. You know, I kind of just see it as like dims the brakes. You know, like I'm not gonna vibe with every single song of like every band always. Uh-oh, we got Lance in the background. Lance, Cowboy
John,
Lance.
Nemo
Holy
streams.
cow. Holy cow. What a look, sir.
What are you doing, my man? I love these McMo streams. I'm a moron. I didn't even know they existed, McMo.
Well, they're relatively new. I've probably done the Sunday chill streams consistently for about 6 months.
Yeah,
And then
6 months. They're new.
but the doing it like Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, that's like very, very new. Probably I've only probably been able to do that like two or three of, you know, maybe for the last month or so. And that's when it started picking up steam. You know, the more you do it, the more people find you, and you know the algorithm. But I will say, like some of the best moments were when it was just like me and Tayo, you know, or me and Phlebas. You know, so there's some. So if you ever want to like, you know, you get bored and you just want some background noise or music, go back to some of the early Sunday chill streams. You know, you'll see Tunji playing bass and, you know, Chad trying to get the guitar to work, recording over stream. You know, there's some fun times back there.
I will. I'll go back.
Well, Lance, one thing that's always tickled me pink about you is your love of 90s hip hop. So are you still kind of listening to 90s hip hop like on the regular?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then I listen to a lot of I like early Kanye, and I really like Nipsey Hussle. Like if you want to talk about one artist, because
Nipsey, wow.
yeah, no, I'm into West Coast.
Well, then you have to have heard Kendrick's new album, right? G and X.
Yeah, Kendrick, my oldest son, he really likes Kendrick. So I have to admit, I don't get down with that as much.
Dang. Well, you might like the new album. It's very West Coast. It's very kind of 90s influenced, that kind of like Dr. Dre sound, and you know, heavily influenced by DJ Mustard and all of that. So you might like it a little bit more than some of his other stuff.
I'll listen to the new Kendrick, but yeah, no, I've got a mix of my basically West Coast 90s stuff that I'm down with. And I'll go to the grave thinking Dr. Dre's if you look at what he put out there in the universe, I think he's the number one producer DJ in the genre. Fight me on it. Fight me on it.
Number one DJ producer.
Yeah, just think what he did with NWA. Then he had the Ice stuff coming out. Then he launches Snoop, and you can't what Eminem did in the late '90s, early 2000s. It was massive.
You're making a really great point. I'm struggling to disagree with you. Well, because it's kind of like the beat. Like to me,
what?
and in different ways, being heavily influenced by him, surpassed him in quality. But in terms of like cultural impact, I think you're probably right. I think he's, if not more important, just as important as kind of some of those early, like DJ Kool Herc and African Bambaataa, and the whole
Yeah.
trifecta or whatever. That he's probably up there with them. Like, you're probably right.
Well, if you think about people of my generation, so I'm, early 50s, right? So it started off with Sugar Hill Gang. So I'm 12 or something like that, when basically the late 70s, but the really early 80s. All that stuff started to become popular right when I was junior high and high school. So we were that prime kind of, group for that. And then my senior year of high school is when NWA broke on the scene. And that was the CD that your Methodist mother did not want you to own. But then
What's NWA stand for, Lance?
so we all went out. Of course, we bought it or whatever. Yeah. So I mean, for us, whereas like you could talk to children of the '60s or whatever, it truly was rap that for our generation was the new thing that was created. You know what I mean? Like totally created.
Yeah. I mean, I still think that, like, at least most people around these parts do not realize the cultural importance of hip hop, and how it's kind of like, because of sampling, it really is kind of a precursor to not only like what music is now, but also like the very meta modern, metagelical, whatever thing, the mismash, the recombobulation of the corner, it's almost like the inverse of the Tower of Babel, or like the Tower of Babel, but with an ironic self-consciousness. It's like, we're going to mash these things together and it's not going to make sense, but there's going to be a beautiful way in which it makes sense still. Very, very interesting. And I think that it all starts with hip hop. Modus Trollins in the chat: do not ask my client what NW stands for on a recorded stream. Lance, so Cal's your lawyer.
I was smart enough to not answer that.
Yon God, quick with this, always blaming the CIA or the FBI. Yon God's he's really got it out for these agencies, man. He does not like what they got going on, and he's here to spread the news on the McMo stream that the government agencies are not to be trusted.
So Kendrick, do you go back and do you listen to any of that earlier stuff, McMo, or are you pretty much?
Oh yeah, no, I do fairly regularly. A lot of my favorite classic hip hop I first heard on video games. So for instance, NBA Street was one of the video games that I was just addicted to as a kid, and they had the best soundtrack of like classics, and probably a song that's still in my top 5, and it's not 5 and it's not 4. It might be 3, but it might be 1. Is Pete Rock and CL Smooth, TROY. They Reminisce Over You. That was one of the. I loved that song so much. It became my like practice warm up on the saxophone. I would just play that little riff. I mean, my saxophone's right here. I could just rip it real quick, but I'm not gonna put. I've already hurt everybody's ears with the saxophone enough on this stream.
Well, my college experience was wild. So if you would go to Kager party music, you would have all that kind of hip hop sort of rap music would be going on. Then you'd have Appetite for Destruction was on heavy rotation during my college years. So it was pretty.
What were your college years? Come on, it's okay.
88 to 92. I'm not afraid. 88 to 92.
Okay.
So bridged the end of the 80s into the beginning of the 90s. And then my senior year was when grunge broke out. So It Smells Like Teen Spirit and everything else broke out my senior year of college. So
and you're like, what is this?
So you went from that hair metal, Guns N' Roses, and then all of a sudden, like Pearl Jam dropped. Was it 10? I can't remember which one it was. I've drawn a blank on that. But Pearl Jam dropped. Sex Sugar Blood Magic dropped from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You had just some amazing stuff come out in that kind of that time frame. So Yeah, it was a pretty interesting time.
Ron, what were you doing during that time?
Well, I was actually trying to work on my master's in drug counseling.
I thought you were going to say your master's in drugs.
No, that's what happened afterward, ironically.
Oh, wow.
There's a story there. But I saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers when they were new. I saw them at Kent State at a place called JB's Down. It was kind of like CBGB's. And dude, they were crazy. They were straight crazy. And I saw Henry Rollins of X or Black Flag. Sorry. I don't know. Dude, I mean, he needed medication. The dude was like an athlete, and he had no restraint. And I mean that like just as a musician, it was raw. And I was around when the punk scene broke, and it was fun. You know, it was
All right.
weird.
My turn to brag. So when I did sound at a little dive bar in Savannah, I actually did sound for a couple bands that ended up that started in that kind of New York punk scene and played at CBGB's and stuff like that. One was the Dead Boys, which connection point back to NBA Street Volume 2. The way I found out how big of a deal Dead Boys was, I had no clue. I just kind of got the text message that said, sound check is at such and such time, and so I said okay, and I got there early, and then these old guys come in, and I was like, oh no, like these guys are these are like, what are these guys doing on the road? Why are these old men here and not in like some comfortable living situation with their families? And this is what I'm thinking. And then they plug in. They're nice. They got a sound guy with them who's like so New York, and he's like telling me to turn up the bass and the kick super loud, and I'm like, hey man, I'm with you. Let's turn it up as loud as we can. Anyway, they start sound check, and the guitar player starts off with this riff, and I immediately recognized it because Rick Rubin sampled it for a song for the Beastie Boys called New York State of Mind, or not New York State of Mind. That's Jay-Z. It's Open Letter to NYC is the Beastie Boys song. And he started playing that guitar riff, and my mind was like immediately blown. I like wake out of my stupor. I Google the band immediately, and I'm like, holy cow, these guys are like legends. And then the other time that something like that happened, I knew the band was big coming in, but it was Cro-Mags, which I don't know if you're familiar with, Ron, but I did the sound for Cro-Mags, and then like a month later, the lead singer was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and I was like, oh man, this is crazy. I'm in the big leagues now.
Yeah. Well, Minneapolis was really cool. So I went to school in college in St. Paul, Minnesota. So it's just right on the river by Minneapolis. And Minneapolis had kind of a wild scene going on right there. You had like bands like Soul Asylum and Replacements and Husker Du and all that other sort of stuff.
Did you ever see Replacements live?
Oh yeah.
Really? Oh, dude, I love them.
Yeah, they're crazy. They were crazy good. But then you also had Prince and Terry Jam and Jimmy Lewis were producing out of Paisley Park. And so Prince he opened up this club right down First Avenue is kind of a famous club in Minneapolis. But he opened up this thing called Glam Slam, which was it was an absurdist, awesome nightclub, McMo. So I had some friends who worked there. I couldn't afford it to go there when I was for whatever, but I could get hooked up with free drinks. And so one time I was there on a Sunday night, and I turned around, and Prince is just like standing right next to me. Dude, he's in high heels, and he like came up to like barely like halfway up me, and it was just crazy. But he would he'd just show up and start playing around Minneapolis. And so one night we were there, and it was like, I don't know, it was probably 1:30 on a Tuesday, and he shows up, and all of a sudden he starts playing a Glam Slam, and it was just insane. And it was him and about three other people.
Lord.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I don't know Prince, but I had a couple of moments that were pretty cool.
That's legendary.
Yeah.
Dude
was tiny. Just tiny.
He's one of those like Gandalf figures too, like he comes in and out of that's the legend or whatever, that he would like pop in and out of places and always be like, oh my God, Prince here, Prince is here, Prince is here. So that whenever I think about that transition from like hair metal to grunge and then into punk, I always think about my coworker, who's my late coworker, who was very instrumental probably in my life, and I'm still kind of figuring out in the ways in which he was very instrumental. But he was basically just this grumpy, old, depressed miscreant. He wasn't that old, but I used to make fun of him as being old. But he was just like this bitter, just bitter to the core, and it's kind of where some of the start of Christian absurdism came, because I was like, I'm not afraid of you, grumpy pants. Like, I'm going to make you giggle, and you're going to like me by the end of this, kind of a thing. And he did. He became a very close friend. He ended up having an accident at work, and then passing away shortly thereafter at his own hands. So it was a very pivotal moment. This is probably about 4 or 5 years ago now. But he he's about your age. He was about your age, Lance, and he hated grunge. He was like, man, he was just like this grumpy little dude. Like, he looked like a dwarf under a bridge, basically, or a troll under a bridge. And he had this like grumpy little voice, and he would just be like, man, hair metal was the best. As soon as they got that damn, and he'd call the, what's it, something in the way. I can't remember the band's name right now. It's from Seattle.
Soundgarden?
Not Soundgarden. It's the big one. What's the big famous grunge guy died? Nirvana. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't think of Nirvana. And Mark Parker was on this stream. Shame on me. But yeah, he hated Nirvana because he called them all F words. He thought that Nirvana was too effeminate for him. He wanted to go back to the days with the curlers and the makeup on stage. I was like, bro, you're not winning this fight. Grunge is way more masculine than hair metal. I'm sorry.
Well,
So
some of it jumped the shark, but if you would look at that kind of 80s glam metal or whatever, there were amazing musicians, man. There were still some really amazing songs. Like, I went to go see Poison in probably about 2008, 2009, and they freaking crushed, dude. They just crushed it. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about the 80s aesthetic that I think it already has kind of come back in a lot of ways. But I think that the like 70s, 80s, 90s, and now the 2000s, the millennial is kind of coming back into style too. But there's just such a rich, there's two ways to look at it, right? The conservative way of looking at it is that it was basically a time of great chaos and upheaval in the world of aesthetics. But if you like new art, if you have a high novelty quotient or whatever, then it's like, oh my goodness, the genres, the explosion of artistic creativity from the 60s to now is just like unheard of in all of mankind. But then at the same time, it's kind of constrained specifically to the arts. Other than cell phones, there doesn't seem to be that much creative thinking going on in much of the rest of society or what have you. But yeah, that's these topics always get me thinking about a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, it was interesting. I liked. I mean, we all probably like what we like. It was, for me, which is interesting, is I remember very much that, because when I was a young guy, that late 60s into early 70s vibe, just the shag carpet and all the parents just smoking and drinking around the kids, and throwing us in the back of these death trap station wagons and these booster seats. It was nuts, and like literally we could get lost for a whole day, and the stuff that they just like we were allowed to do was insane. But then we also come into the 80s, and you get that whole electronic sort of thing started to pump, getting computers and stuff like that, and then kind of see the birth of the internet and all those sorts of things. I'm just saying, I'm grateful I got to live through what I got to live through, because I got to see kind of these big shifts. That's kind of where we're at now, and so.
Well, I'm grateful because you're helping me eventually form a cohesive enough argument to make a Michael Sartori style generational takedown of Gen X. I think it's Gen X has gone far too long just kind of coasting under the radar like they have their entire lives. The latchkey kids are still getting away with everything. And so one of these days, these Gen X, the time's going to run out, and the Gen X is just going to have to pay for their sins, their sins of inactivity.
Well, they did show up in overwhelming fashion last November in America.
Yeah, for St. Donald.
Well, just for whatever this other crap was, not that, right? That's really what the vote was, right? It was like whatever that is, like not that.
Well,
And
I was happy to see. I can never remember his name, but the future emperor of our empire, Vice President, Hillbilly
JD
Elegy
Vance,
guy. Yeah, JD
JD
Vance.
Vance,
I
yeah.
can never remember JD Vance's name.
Okay.
Well, see, he's a millennial.
Yeah, well, that's why I
He's
like him.
young.
I mean,
Yeah.
has anybody checked the like numbers and letters of his name though? Is he a potential, is he a potential antichrist? Do we need to be on the lookout for JD?
Somebody is. But
Every
one of the
time somebody
hallmark.
competent is in government, if they can answer a question with more than two sentences that don't sound like they were, written by someone with no personality, then, I'm kind of like my
That sounds-
antichrist trigger, my hairs get raised because I'm like, this guy's probably no good.
Yeah, I think the one thing that was what was really a hallmarker for, I could just say, and you could look at like the Breakfast Club or whatever that was, if you could think Gen X it's definitely like screw authority. Like our idea that people would worship political figures at that young of an age is just insane. Like, why would you want to like give up power of your life over to any adult or any authority figure, but particularly governmental people or whatever? And so kind of the flip that kind of happened in younger generations where they wanted to see that, it's a fascinating, I don't know, it's just fascinating for us. And to say that we, there aren't enough of us or whatever, and we're gonna get skipped over in the governance stuff. It's gonna go right from boomers to millennials, whatever, I guess. That way,
Just
we
like,
know what
just
allows
like
us
the
to make
blame
Mo.
did, right?
We can
Just like the blame did. The responsibility, just like the blame, just gets transferred.
We can bitch about the boomers and the millennials. It works out great.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure that. Well, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will.
You can say me. Yeah. You can say me. I'll own it.
I mean, it's just funny too because it's like, where are the Gen X politicians?
They're very few.
Oh, Tayo's unhappy with Elon now that he's, his fingers of gold have reached across the Atlantic. It's all fun and games till we start manipulating your government.
Elon's Gen X, isn't he?
Is he?
Is he Gen? Yeah, he'd be Gen X, isn't he?
He's so immature with like the game, like, being a gamer and stuff.
Yeah, he's Gen X. Elon's Gen X. So Elon's Gen X, and so like when he goes, can I say a bad word on Momo stream?
Yes.
Like when he was talking about how Bill Gates or others, he said this more than once, and he's like, you're gonna try and blackmail me with money? Fuck you. Fuck you. That's Gen X right there.
Well, you said it. Sherry, welcome. Or me, excuse me. Welcome, me. It's been a long time since we've talked face to face, me.
Yeah, I know, right? I thought I'd join because you were bashing Gen Xers, so I had to get in here.
I actually missed what you said, so I'm going to have to go back and hear the punchline to that joke. But I was transferring devices, and I lost audio for a second. I'm so sorry.
She said she had to jump in because you were bashing Gen Xers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Sherry, tell me how wrong I am, Let a millennial once again take on the wrath reserved for him by an entire generation of people that are neither his parents nor his children, but some weird cousins that he's always taking the blame for.
The next generation. I was McMo. I was totally excited about. Let's move on to the next generation.
Yeah. Boomers, you're done. We've said our piece. You guys are good to go.
The old folks first. Now
right.
You're gonna go to the next generation.
That's right. Need some fresh blood.
Start with the old fogies, the ones who can't defend themselves.
I'll tell you what I like about millennials, and I did even in kind of the mid 2000s when I was hanging out with kind of those guys when they were in their 20s or whatever, is I know this term gets overused, but their whole thing is like, they also were like, we want something that's authentic. Like all this stuff you guys are doing, That's this just kind of surface level bullshit we reject. Would you agree with that, McMullen?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm a younger millennial, so I'm more on the like pro felicity side of that thing. But I do remember that. You know, I do remember the kind of the mid 2000s. Like I think of like Green Day and Weezer, you know, and like even like just in music. Like I think of that kind of like early internet. I guess it's not early internet, but like the kind of early social media vibes were very yeah, it's you need to be your authentic self, but there's also it was like people it was everyone kind of learning together what profilicity what well we didn't learn what it was until we had the word, but you know, figuring out that kind of like, oh, this is how I want to present to like all of my friends or whatever. And so authenticity is like definitely wrapped up in that. But I think that you can see, let me be specific maybe, like I think that you can see something like a decadence or something beginning to creep in that probably, in my opinion, overshadows the kind of like authenticity. Like I think of Gen X as being the more like authenticity people, because even like the greed is good, like you know, 80s heyday, there was a sense in which like this is who we want to be, you know.
You think the people from the 80s were authentic?
Well, I have no clue. You know, I wasn't alive then, so I'm just trying to, you know, I'm kind of basing it off of what other people have talked about and just, you know, observing media and stuff like that.
It felt like back in the 80s, it was more of a shift of coming out of Vietnam, stigmatized by war, losing one. And oddly enough, getting back into one in the 80s, getting back into Afghanistan with only advisors and stuff like that. And then you had technology, like the internet was just, and computers were just gaining traction. And it felt like a new frontier was opening up. So it was it wasn't all bad. It felt like we were trying to shake something from the past. And then you had new wave music coming in and, you know, the punk scene. So it seemed like it was, and I'm not trying to hate disco, but I hate disco. And it was yeah, I'm sorry.
I love disco.
Oh, I thought music died in 70. Well, when I was in junior high, that's when disco hit. Saturday Night Fever. Like, dude, I was robbed, but I'm healed.
Yeah, I'm gonna, you know, as the you know, sitting in the heretics confessional here, I appreciate that, you know, you admitting that, but then I also am going to order you to listen to the Bee Gees. You don't have to. You can listen to the greatest hits. You know, you don't have to listen to an album. Or ABBA. You can do ABBA or the Bee Gees. I'd actually prefer ABBA probably.
Actually, not now. I'm going to give you your pound of flesh though, because the Bee Gees had some good songs. I'm not going to hate that way. I'm just saying the culture and the disco scene, platform shoes, wide lapels, polyester suits, they need to die. That way.
You didn't like the fashion.
Yeah. And it just, that part of it just was really, yeah, okay, I'll just leave it at that. But now,
You
going
know,
back,
I've never really liked the kind of it's almost like an unwritten rule, right? That like you have to dress like the music you like, you
Right.
know, or something like that. I remember feeling that, especially as like a, you know, a middle schooler or a high schooler. But you know, what a freeing thought as an adult now to be like, oh yeah, I can like, you know, I can like hip hop and I don't have to buy sneakers or something, you know, or I can like jazz and I don't have to smoke cigarettes, you know. So it's nice.
yeah. So to go back to the Bee Gees, I gotta say, is it Lights on Broadway? The opening, like the opening on that is insane. It's amazing, and it's
I think one of the Bee Gees just did a song with Dolly Parton, one of their older songs, or is I'm trying to remember which one. It was on YouTube a couple weeks ago or a month ago or something. And I was like, wait, what? And and it was like I didn't even know Dolly Parton was still alive. But
Oh yeah.
Which described I Need Jesus? Because there was one that was a duet.
Yeah, Dolly loves a duet. You know, Dolly's probably one of the most collaborative people who's been alive in the past 100 years. Honestly, she's
for at least 100 years.
yeah, she's like she's saint status in Southeast America. Like
she's beloved across genres. She's an American icon.
Yeah, like I don't. Beyonce might be the only woman bigger than Dolly Parton, more beloved. But even then, I think like
no, she's
probably
still
not.
niche.
Yeah,
Beyonce's still niche. No, my mom loves Dolly Parton, and she's almost 80. Think about that. Like yeah, Dolly transcends. She's
100
she's an
years,
icon.
like I said.
yeah. I don't remember. I don't know how old Dolly is.
She ain't young. She's moving on.
Well,
she's
it's kind of it's a ship of Theseus problem, right? You guys, you know the ship of Theseus. Like if you replace all the parts, is it still the same ship?
Oh.
No, I've been lucky. Like, but Ron, here's the thing about the dress. Okay, so yeah, there was definitely a style that came out of disco, but man, go back and look at some of your favorite bands and what they were dressing like in 72, 73, 74, and your favorite rock bands, bro. Like they were dressing every bit as wild as what you saw on the disco scene, right? Come on.
No, at least for me, in 70, the standard uniform was bell-bottom jeans, maybe a flannel shirt, and long hair.
Unless you were Jethro Tull.
I was gonna say you saw a lot of them wearing that what's that Japanese like sort of like short bathrobe thing, silk bathrobe thing. You see, you got people wearing a lot of those.
Kimono.
Kimonos.
Those were just those were like stalker material.
So
no,
I've actually I don't go back and listen to a lot of disco, but I would have to say that other than death metal, I just can't handle just the screeching lyrics. Other than death metal, I like metal. I pretty much can find something I can like in almost any genre of music.
Really?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
I just like the pig screeching that happens in death metal. You know what I mean, McMo? Yeah, I can't handle it.
Right.
I love it. The thing that I love about hardcore music is the drop, because it's liturgical in the real sense. Like it is the part of the song that is meant to be embodied. You know, it's meant to kind of stop you in your tracks and make you move your entire body in a certain way. And no one ever had to like.
What do you guys? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, what do you think of these new neo-pagan bands?
Like who? Who's neo-pagan?
New pagan, just like the old pagan, you know.
Less Billy.
Well, you were talking about embodiment. I mean, these guys are up there, doing the whole thing, right? Like, there's one, Lance. If you look up I think it's Heilung, Heilung.
Mm-hmm.
I wish so much that we were on like.
It really cool to see actual like old traditional instruments being played, and then some of the ways that they're singing. It's just cool. I like it. I don't know where they're getting. I don't know where they have their sources. Like there were no recordings back then, right? Like so. How do they know these songs were sung like that? That's one of the
I think that it's sorcery. I think that it's or conjuring. I don't. Like you said, there's no recordings of the neo-pagans or whatever, or the proto-pagans.
Yeah, but some of them are like supposed to be, the I don't know, you can't really call them original. because they're mythological, right? But
Right. Yeah.
but
I think
there's
I
like
think it's just like LARPing.
old
Like I think it's
tradition.
serious. I think it's LARPing hard. That's probably like how I would put it. You know, I think that they're seriously trying to play pretend in a way.
Yeah, that would be too harsh a criticism for me.
I don't mean it as a criticism, but I see what you mean.
Okay.
I don't know a better way to put it though. Like I think that they
Okay.
are they're trying to embody a vibe that they are enraptured by. But I don't know
I
to
mean, I
what degree
watched.
they're actually creating it, I guess is my
I
question.
recently this is gonna maybe take us off track, but I just want to make this side trail for a minute. I recently watched this it was an older BBC documentary, like probably made in the 80s, of this man who claimed to be the last druid. And he was
Can you send me this immediately?
me?
Yeah, where did you see this? I love vintage BBC documentaries. It's like probably one of my favorite genres.
On YouTube.
I probably
just
watched
go documentary Last Druid.
Yeah, and that's right up my alley too. Oh, yep, there it is.
And yeah, and I mean, this guy's legit. He actually has genealogy, and he, was given the secrets and all this kind of thing. So there is a tradition out there. So that's why I don't like the LARPing thing, because I think there's probably some kind of a source for this stuff.
Yeah. I guess I meant the LARPing thing in the good way. Like
I like to watch
like the
Druid
way
video.
that the Divine Liturgy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it's a serious. I meant it as like in the John Vervaeke like serious play form of LARPing,
Mm-hmm.
not in the like kayfabe
Yeah, but
version
I don't
of
know.
like.
Like, I wonder. I think. I mean, there's neo-pagans who just kind of do what do you call those party bags of pretzels, Doritos, and cheesies all in one bag? Like that's their religion.
Oh.
But I had a couple. I bought a billy goat from, and they were pagans, and they were practicing Scandinavian like Viking paganism. They were all excited because I had 2 fjord mares here. You have fjords? Can we touch them? But
Yeah, there's a huge neo-pagan scene in Asheville. I've kind of been
everywhere. It's just everywhere now, McMo. It's huge, actually.
I've been very unimpressed with their metaphysics.
Well, I kind of count myself as a Christian neo-pagan, so I'm intrigued by it. I'm intrigued by the seeking aspect. Actually.
Yeah, there seems to be like maybe a cultural aspect too of like how much baby was thrown out with the bathwater in terms of just not even Christianity's effects on paganism, but more so modernity's effects on it. Right? As soon as we stopped believing in fairies, what all did we lose besides just the belief in fairies? But Ron, you sound like you were going to say something, but just let you know you're kind of cutting in and out a little bit.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Is icon of neo-paganism like a hammer? Or it looks like a hammer when worn from the necklace?
Well, no, I don't know if there's an icon for neo-paganism, but that is Thor's hammer.
Okay.
Some people wear it.
So neo-paganism is just how do I put this? It's just all things not Christian that are. It depends.
I don't know.
Just say because it's basically I call it New Age. I'm not trying to be insulting. It's just
It's slightly different than New Age because it's kind of like instead of it trying to be like all the religions are one. It's very specifically kind of going back to it's like almost like a conservative it's kind of a type of conservatism, you know. It's like
Yeah.
I want to go back to even before, you know, the Catholic Church took over or whatever.
And I would also add that it depends whatever kind of paganism that you're practicing may also highly depend on where you're from. Like I know a lot of Scandinavian countries, because they're indigenous to those places, so they're going back to their indigenous roots, right? In that way, and yeah. So you know, if you're in South America, it's going to look completely different, right?
So basically, it's going to be oral traditions. There's not a lot of. I guess I should. Is it mostly given from oral traditions, or is it text, or kind of grab it together if you can?
I mean, there's definitely, depending on how tribal your society is, there's definitely elders that would be able to, like I know here for First Nations, there's lots of elders that pass on, you know, all the sacred knowledge and stories and they train, you know, they have shamans and they train them up, they choose them, the elders choose them and train them up and stuff like that. So I don't know about more, you know, modern European countries that are so far away from their traditional roots. But like McMo was saying, it is a kind of conservatism, but it's also a kind of traditionalism.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah, that's a better word, traditionalism.
There's an echo on Ron for some reason.
You know, I'm gonna dip out because I hear the echo myself. I can't come back. I'll be back.
That's why
I just
we're
wanted to
kicking
pass-
around the metagetical stuff. What's going on with this?
Might be my fault. Might be my fault. I'm sorry.
What are you doing, McMo?
Messing everything up.
I dropped it when we were talking about that metagelical and all that other stuff. I dropped in. I saw one of the definitions for pre-traditional, which is describing folks who had not fully adopted modern or Western traditions. And so in some ways I would say I'm kind of going back and I'm being pre-traditional is where I'm at now. In that sense.
Pre-traditional. As an Orthodox Christian, you think?
Well, yeah, but also if I wanted to link up to that, Sherry, which was, if I think about the Acts Church, the house church planting movement I was a part of, we focused on Acts 2:42 and, you know, through 2:47, which is where they met in their homes. You know, they devoted themselves to the apostles' teachings, to the breaking of bread, Eucharist, and the prayers. It's not prayers, it's the prayers, because they were saying liturgical prayers, right? Which makes only sense as a Jewish people, they were doing liturgical prayers, right? The Our Father is liturgical prayer. So anyway, I would just, because Paul's been kicking out this metagelical kind of term that he's been trying to see, he's taking it out for a spin and see what people think about it.
Yeah.
And
it's going to be discussed forever. That's how you feed the corner. You give them a new word.
So anyway, I just looked up what's pre-traditional. I just was kicking around, and one of the pre-traditional, one of the things that's used in the West is before modern and Western. You know, you've rejecting the traditions of modern or Western or whatever. I was just joking around with that, but so anyway, so if you think about what I was doing for 15 years before I went to Orthodoxy, was trying to get back into the earliest, you know, trying to get past all this other stuff and trying to do early church stuff, like trying to figure out how did they do early church. I feel like I found that in the Orthodox Church. Now, I know a lot of people would argue with me about that, but that's what my deep resonance was. It's like, when it says my Father's house is a house of prayer. Oh, I get it. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? My son was, I was making salves and stuff, and I was telling him about the process, and I used, because we grew comfrey, I was able to harvest it for the first time this year, and I made some comfrey salve, and he's like, well, where did you get the oil for that? And I said, well, I just make it. I just put the comfrey, dry the leaves, put them in the oil. And so I showed him, and he said to me, he goes, okay, Mom, so you converted to Orthodoxy and now you're going to become a Wiccan? And I said to him, honey, Orthodoxy is Wiccan.
No, but I sit there and I
said to him, one of these days I'll explain theophany to you.
Right. But I joke about that because Mo would say this. I am totally a USA kid. Like I imbibe the ethos. And if I think about like all my ancestors were people who would have been pioneers on the plains. I mean, these were pretty hardy people who were trying to run away from the man, they were probably serfs in the fields of Europe, and they finally had a chance to go ahead.
Or criminals. I'm just saying.
Right? Exactly. Probably knowing my family and the history of alcoholism.
I'm pretty sure which one of those I come from.
But just deeply, like, leave me alone. Just leave me alone. You know what I mean? Like, you do you, I'll do me sort of thing. Just total freedom thing. So I joke about that to say, kind of this sense of American freedom. That doesn't exist in a lot of even the modern Western forms of government in Europe, right? So I'm very much a USA kid.
Yeah, I really like who is it? It's not John McWhorter. It's who's the other guy from blogging? The other black guy from Blogging Heads TV. Lance, you got to know this guy.
From Blogging Heads?
He's a black conservative. He recently wrote his autobiography. Why can't I remember his name? He often is in dialogue with John McWhorter. Let's see. He's getting up there in years.
Is he an older man? Is he an older man?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. He is.
I know. I don't know his name.
Let's see if I can find his name real quick.
Soul?
Not Soul. Glenn Lowry.
Glenn
Lowry.
So here's the funny thing about Nick.
I wanted
to tell myself.
Let me stick the landing with because it had to do with what you're saying about being an American, because I feel the same way. And Glenn Lowry talks about how, like, I'm a man of the, he's doing it from this position of like wanting to claim all of his blackness and all of his Americanness kind of in one, and be a conservative. And so he has this thing where it's like, Dostoevsky is mine, Thomas Jefferson is mine, Hegel is mine. I am a man of the West. I am an American. Like I inherit this entire tradition. And I feel the same exact way. I feel 100% a person of the West, but specifically the American West, insofar that I'm not tempted at all by paganism. It just does not. It does not have a type of romantic aesthetic appeal whatsoever. What has that kind of aesthetic resonance is very much like the Southern American revival church. Like that's what really gets me going, is the idea of like a tent revival. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to go back, it's going to be to tent revivals. But sorry, I kind of cut you off. You said you were going to tell on yourself, and I don't want to stop that from happening.
No, I was going to. So when I actually learn a little bit more, and you think about what I would just say Western Europe is, I'm not. Yes, there's that, but I'm not Western Europe. They have very different bills of rights, constitutions, their view of what kind of an individual's. I totally am a USA kid when it comes to that.
I feel like a European because I live in Canada and I'm just a slave. I'm a peasant in a feudal system. Somebody save me.
Yeah, the Europeans put up with too much crap from their governments, as far as I'm concerned.
Europeans are, if you look up the rate of compliance in Europe, it's so high. It's crazy high.
Right,
and
right. The rule followers.
Most, at least even North Americans. I mean, Canadians are only compliant until they decide to have a trucker convoy.
Tayo, go to bed.
Tayo, go to bed. Come on in. No, I'm just describing. And again, Tayo, you have your own experience, and that's awesome. But Like I do think, well, even in Canadians too, if you would think about it though, Sherry, to come over from where the settlers came over from and everything else, I mean, that was a particular kind of person, man, you know? Particularly if you get out, well, all over the place. So yeah, so I joke. And so when
so these countries selected for ornery, independent individualists?
Yes.
So
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Ron's back.
Ron is back.
So you guys are talking. I missed part of it. So I came in. Is the echo still here, Sherry, or is it gone? I hear
Yeah.
echo, but is it affecting you guys?
Like, do you have a little speaker on or something?
I think McMo has some reverb still going from his.
You think it's my fault still, Lance? You think it's still my fault?
Blame it on the sound guy.
Blame. Wow. That's
I'll blame it on Yon God. I think
Yon
it's somehow
God.
Yon God's fault.
Wait,
is Yon
God he's a Fed. Yon God's yeah. Defend yourself. We're gonna attack you. I mean, you know what I mean. I have to.
Yon God's definitely. If he's a Fed, he's doing a really good job. I'll just say that.
He's undercover.
He's definitely a Fed. I'm just.
That's exactly what a Fed would say, Yon God. That's exactly what.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
No, we trust old Yanni. He's an expat, you know. He doesn't even. He's an American living in Europe. But hold on, my wife's calling me, so you guys carry the stream.
Well,
hello, Mr.
I need to
McMo.
head out. I've got to make dinner I got to make dinner. So anyway, thanks McMo for opening up space. Good to see you guys.
You too. Bon appetit.
Thanks for hanging, Lance.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Later.
Man, Joe, how's it going, dude? It's just me and you holding the bar open.
It's going pretty good. Just enjoying the conversation, I guess. Mostly.
Hey, and I don't mean to be prying. I heard your conversation before. When you were into hallucinogenics. You know, when you're sharing your testimony. When you and your buddy both came to faith, you're like, oh crap, God's real, and like you both took two different roads. Yours was psychedelics and his was not. And I was just wondering what you think about it in general. I'm not a proponent of them, but I'm realizing stuff happens and it's
That's not much of a question.
Different road. Okay. What I'm trying to do is challenge myself to see things differently. And
try drugs then.
I did a lot. Didn't like it. I met Jesus at the end of metaphorically at the end of a gun. It was either change or die. And then I hear your testimony and others. I'm like, it stretches me, to be honest with you. And I didn't know what you thought about the neo-paganism going on, or just.
Well, unfortunately, that is going to have to wait until next McMo chill stream, because my wife is done with work and I've got to go pick her up. And so everybody, this is your final word. So last words, everybody. Starting with Joe. Bye, Sherry. That's a great last word. You can also just bye and leave the chat. Joe or Ron, any last words?
Great tunage earlier, and it was fun hanging. And peace.
Right back at you, brother. Ron, you get the final word today.
It's always fun, dude. I'm going to go take a nap.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Here's some tunes. We're starting the tunes.
Remove its power to create a space for there to be something other. But I think having created that other space, there is room for evil in the world. But if you think about it, there's another asymmetry here, because goodness, being love effectively, can embrace evil. But evil, being effectively hatred, cannot embrace good. So good is greater than evil. Good can embrace, take into itself, and transform what is in its nature at the time evil and turn it into something greater. But evil can never do this to good. Which is not to say that people can't become corrupted, that's not what I mean. But what I mean is that evil in general is powerless to overcome the truly good. The first act of the ground of being to withdraw and remove its power to create a space for there to be something other. But I think having created that other space, there is room for evil in the world. But if you think about it, there's another asymmetry here, because goodness, being love effectively, can embrace evil. But evil, being effectively hatred, cannot embrace good. So good is greater than evil. Good can embrace, take into itself, and transform what is in its nature at the time evil and turn it into something greater. But evil can never do this to good. Which is not to say that people can't become corrupted, that's not what I mean. But what I mean is that evil in general is powerless to overcome the truly good. The first act of the ground of...
Oh, I like that, Matt. You should pin your own thing. Overwhelm is the reasonable response to the combinatorial explosive reality without data. Oh, I like that, Matt. You should pin your own thing. Overwhelm is the reasonable response to the combinatorial explosive reality without data. Yeah. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that, Matt. You should pin your own thing. Overwhelm is the reasonable response to the combinatorial explosive reality without data. Oh, I like that, Matt. You should pin your own thing. Overwhelm is the reasonable response to the combinatorial explosive reality without data. Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Actually honors most, I feel and I firmly believe coming to the truth actually honors most my Egyptian background. Because it comes back to its fullness. And I believe that anyone who leaves leaves what is broken and distorted to enter into the fullness actually fulfills with great honor their ancestors. How does it honor our ancestors to remain in darkness, to not move towards what their hearts yearned for and desired, maybe in ignorance, not knowing, or maybe because of, I feel and I firmly believe that coming to the truth actually honors most
God, right? Wow, it's, and it proactively enables you to make significance and to make meaning of each experience. And it allows you to sort of immediately extrapolate meaning across time. That's the proactive movement that's happening, right, in time. And retroactively, it redeems these past experiences and integrates them into a story of becoming, right? And exposes all the wrong vectors, happiness, self-becoming, all of these vectors that were out, right? Oh God, right? Wow, it's, oh God, right? Wow. Oh God, right? Wow, it's, and it proactively enables you to make significance and to make meaning of each experience. And it allows you to sort of immediately extrapolate meaning across time. That's the proactive movement that's happening, right, in time. And retroactively, it redeems these past experiences and integrates them into a story of becoming, right? And exposes all the wrong vectors, happiness, self-becoming, all of these vectors that were out, right? Oh God, right? Wow, it's,
The first act of the grounder being to withdraw and remove its power to create a space for there to be something other. But I think having created that other space, there is room for evil in the world. But if you think about it, there's another asymmetry here, because goodness, being love effectively, can embrace evil. But evil